Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is the Sell Your Home for More webinar. We're going to have 3 speakers today. My name is Jessica Wallace. I am a realtor in Santa Cruz. We have Kaela Howard. She is an amazing stager and designer, and Michael Christensen, who is a tax professional. So who am I? Jessica Wallace. I have been a realtor in Santa Cruz for 20 years now. Insane. I got my license in 2004, so this will be my 20th year of selling houses here. I'm born and raised in the area. I went to Soquel High School, and I rank in the top 1% of all realtors in Santa Cruz County, and I'm #1 at my brokerage, which is Coldwell Banker Realty. I graduated from the University of California at Davis. I studied art history and Spanish. And some fun facts, I studied art history in Granada, Spain. I spent a year studying there in college. After that, I was a tour guide in Rome, Italy for 2 years. And then I lived in Buenos Aires in Argentina for about a year. So I do speak Spanish and some Italian. I'm going to give you today my top 3 tips on what to do to sell your house for the most possible money. And number 1 is to do the little updates and fixes without breaking the bank. I hardly ever recommend major remodeling. It's really not necessary to spend $50,000 remodeling a kitchen because you won't get dollar for dollar back from it when you sell. The only time I recommend a big remodel is if there's a health and safety issue like mold or a deck. For example, if you walk on the deck and you're going to fall through it and it's going to be a safety issue, we have to fix those things, because if you don't, you might not be able to get a loan on the property. And that could really decrease your value, because the only buyers are going to be a cash buyer if you have a major health and safety issue on your house. But other than that, I don't recommend spending tens of thousands of dollars on remodeling kitchen and bathrooms. It's not necessary. So what I do recommend, things that are simple to do: painting, little painting outside. Sometimes we just do a power wash on the outside of the house and paint the trim. That can be enough. Do painting on the inside. Right now, white is in. There's a lot of different whites, but Kaela, who you're going to be hearing from next, she always has a really good eye about colors and what to choose. So painting inside can be a great investment when you're selling your house. Flooring. A lot of the houses in Santa Cruz County have hardwood floors under carpets, I am finding. So refinishing hardwood floors, if they're there, putting in new carpet if it's very old and dirty, or if it's a color that's not neutral. Changing out light fixtures. If you have those old dated light fixtures, and getting something at Amazon or Home Depot that's not expensive and putting in new light fixtures updates your house without spending a ton of money. Things like doorknobs and the light plate switch covers, changing those to white when they're usually beige in an older house, that's a good thing to do and very inexpensive. Some minor landscaping and trimming up, and then deep cleaning of a house, deep cleaning and washing the windows. All those things, they're not going to break the bank, and they really will pay back as an investment when you're selling your house. And the biggest bang for your buck items are focusing on things that the first things that buyers see when they walk into your house and they walk up to your property. So that's the front yard, it's the front doorknob, it's painting the front door, it's the light fixture outside the front door, and painting the garage door. All those things are really good to focus on when you're looking to sell your house. Tip number 2 is get inspections done up front. Why do I recommend getting inspections done up front? You want to give the buyer information about the property so they know it before they get into contract, and they don't try to renegotiate with you later down the line. It puts you as the seller in the best position to negotiate. If the buyer gets inspections and they find things that we did not disclose up front, they are most likely going to try to renegotiate with you and ask for a credit or a price reduction, or for you to do expensive repairs. What inspections I recommend to do: we start with a general home inspection and then a termite inspection as well. We have termites in this area and things that lead to termites like dry rot. We want to find those out first. It doesn't mean you have to fix anything on the reports. It's simply a disclosure item to give to the buyer. And something important for everybody to know in Santa Cruz County, if you are on city sewer, you have to get a sewer lateral inspection. This means a plumbing company comes and they stick a camera down your sewer line and inspect the line, and they look for cracks or root intrusion. And if there is a problem with the sewer line, it does have to be fixed, but you can pass the responsibility to the buyer if they allow that, but it does have to be fixed. And then a new thing that went into effect of July of last year in 2023 is a septic inspection. We always really did septic inspections, but now it's mandated by the county that it be inspected, and they have a flow test that is more extensive than it used to be. So these are things that have to be done by law. There's no getting around doing a sewer lateral or a septic inspection when you're selling your property. If there's issues with either of those, you can pass the responsibility to the buyer, but we need to know what the issues are up front. And number 3, my top 3 tip for selling your house for the most possible money is staging your house. So in Santa Cruz County, we have a lot of properties that are old. They are dated. You don't have to make your house perfect to sell it. But staging, what it can do, and Kaela will talk about this, it updates a house without actually remodeling it. So you have a house that was built in the 1970s, 1960s, that's pretty darn original, and you put some staging in there that goes with the style of the house, but it's more current look. It makes your house look more modern and appealing to today's buyers. It really transforms a house and makes a dated house look much more contemporary. And you can see in the photo here, this was a house that was built in the 60s, and nothing major was done to it besides refinishing the hardwood floors and a couple light fixtures and staging. And it turned out really amazing, and it definitely appealed to a ton of buyers, and it sold for a very good price. So those are my top 3 tips to sell for more. Do the little things, don't break the bank. Number 2, get inspections. And number 3, stage your property. So what are buyers looking for in today's market when they're looking at houses? They're looking for something that's move-in ready. That does not mean that it was remodeled completely yesterday, but it's livable. Maybe the kitchen's dated, the bathroom's dated, but the plumbing works. There's no dripping faucets. It's not so terrible that they're going to have to rip it out as soon as they move in. They can peck away at updating. It doesn't have to be perfect, but they want to be able to see themselves moving in right away. Minimal major items on the inspection reports, ideally, and major items are like it needs a new roof, or there's foundation issues, or it needs a septic replacement. They're looking for things like that that are going to be a major cost, and factoring that into when they're considering making an offer. Another thing that's huge is internet speed. Everybody asks about that now. There's so many people working from home, remote work, especially if you're in a more rural property. They want to know how fast your internet is. I get that on almost every house I sell, is what's the internet speed. Another thing that buyers are looking for now is location and proximity for commuting. So can they get over the hill to Silicon Valley easily? A lot of times they don't have to go every day anymore, but sometimes once a week or every other week they go over. So they want to know they can get over to their jobs, which are primarily located in Silicon Valley. Walkability is a big thing. A lot of people don't want to have to get in their car to do everything, like go to the coffee shop or go to the store or walk down to the beach. Walkability is huge. And floor plans, how a house is laid out. I get a lot of requests for single level homes, or at least a house that has like a bedroom and a full bathroom on the ground floor. Those tend to sell for more if you have a floor plan like that. So what is going on in the Santa Cruz real estate market today? So last year, we actually had the first year of depreciation of prices going down since 2011. So over 10 years, we had property values going straight up in Santa Cruz County. Last year, we went down by just a little bit over 5%. is what happened. And you know, we had so many years of extreme appreciation during COVID. Prices went up probably 40 to 50% during our COVID years. And then last year, it just went down by 5%. So our average price last year was just under 1.4 million. And the average price the year before in 2022 was just under 1.5. So we softened our prices a bit. That is largely due to how high interest rates got last year. They hit 8% around August of 2023. And that definitely was a factor in why prices went down in 2023. But if you look at the long term of Santa Cruz real estate, this is a graph of historical appreciation of single family homes in Santa Cruz County. It starts in 1979 and it ends 2023. This black line here is 0%, right? And everything above it are years that home prices went up in Santa Cruz County. So you can see the vast majority of the time, prices in Santa Cruz County have increased year over year. Vast majority. Here we had our huge dip in 2008, 9, 10, and then it started going up. Ever since 2011, we've been going up in price, you know, between 5 to 18% in 2021. We went up 18% in 1 year. That is huge. Interest rates ticked up, prices went down, and we had a dip last year. So you can see Santa Cruz real estate overall is an amazing investment over time. What's going on right now? It's February 2024. We're almost in March. I have seen a big change in the market in the past 30 days. Multiple offers are definitely back in a way that they were not last year in 2023. I've seen a lot of multiple offers, 7 offers, 5 offers, 4 offers. Properties are going, starting to go over asking again. Not all of them, certainly, but it's happening more than it was in 2023. So I'm seeing a big uptick in the market so far this year. Interest rates are less than they were at the height of 2023 when they hit 8%, but we're still in the high 6% or mid 6% for an interest rate for a loan. So it's not like it's gone back to 3% or less, and it probably never will. So we're still pretty high for interest rates, but why are prices going up then? We have almost no houses for sale in this county. I just checked this morning. We have 186 houses for sale that are active on the market in the entire county, and that's from Boulder Creek to Watsonville. That is very, very low number of homes. And for comparison, during our last Great Recession, which was 2008 to 11, which was a buyer's market, we had between 900 to 1,300 houses on the market during that time. Right now, we have 186. So you can see with that market dynamic and that type of supply, why we are in a seller's market, even with high interest rates, is because we just do not have the inventory. So imagine if interest rates went down below 6% and what that could do to prices. They could shoot up quite a bit again. It doesn't look like that's going to happen this year because of some factors with the economy. It doesn't look like there's going to be a rate cut at the next Fed meeting. We will see. But it seems like interest rates are going to stay higher for longer, is what they're saying. So we're definitely in a seller's market due to the low inventory and high demand. I want to show you a case study of a property so you can see how my tips come together about how to sell a house for more. So this is a case study of a home that I sold on the west side on Escalona Drive, and it had been owned by the same family since 1950 and pretty darn original on the inside. So 1950, very original house, original, you know, plumbing, original electrical. What we did, we had a $30,000 budget, which sounds like a lot, but it doesn't go as far as it used to. And this was a pretty large home. What we did, we painted the inside, new light fixtures, refinished hardwood floors in the kitchen, and I'll show you a photo of that, painted and did new flooring, landscaping, and did inspections up front. So we spent $30,000 on it. It had appraised for 1.8 million, and it's ended up selling for 2.1 million in 7 days. So they spent $30,000 and they made $300,000 by doing those fixes and updates. I'm going to show you the photos so you can see what we did. So this is what the house looked like when I first visited it. It had carpet in the living room, dark wood paneling. It had kind of like a older paint color, kind of beige. There was hardwood floors underneath that carpet. They were refinished. The house was painted on the inside and staged, and you can see how different it looks. The windows were not changed out. Nothing significantly changed in this room besides the cosmetic of it. And it really changes the whole feel and look of a house. This is the kitchen. The kitchen, you can see, had a mix of some different styles, like a 1970s floor with a 1950s countertop. What we did in here, we just painted the cabinets and put luxury vinyl tile over the other tile and painted it, staged it. Completely different kitchen. But did we spend, and new light fixtures too, but did we spend, $50,000 remodeling this kitchen? Absolutely not. We did the basics on it. And it made it look like a very appealing kitchen, and buyers can see themselves moving in and living in this, right? Versus the other one before, they could have walked in there and said, you know what, I'm going to have to spend $50,000 on this kitchen to remodel it. And that could have affected the ultimate sales price. This is the dining area, the before and after. This is during when they were getting the hardwood floors refinished. There was carpet in here, painted, fun new light fixture, and staged. The family room. Family room, we put new carpet in, painted, new light fixture, staged. You can see how different that looks and what a big effect it has when you are marketing a very, very valuable asset. And most of our assets in Santa Cruz County for homes are $1 million plus, multi-million-dollar properties. So it really pays to do a little investment into them and get a big upside when you go to sell. Master bedroom. All we did in here was paint the ceiling, refinish the floors, and stage. So not anything super expensive. A big question that I get is, what if I can't afford to pay $30,000 to get my home fixed up, or $10,000 or $5,000? We have programs that do allow for you to get all these things done, inspections, repairs, updates, and you can pay for it when your house closes through escrow. So if you have no money, no cash in hand, we do have programs that we can work with to get it paid through escrow. So you don't have to worry about that. Next steps and how to connect. So what I like to do is visit a property, go through it with you, and a lot of times I'll bring Kaela with me, and we provide a detailed list about what we recommend to do. And we also give you a list of providers that we can help connect you with to get the work done. So you're not left on your own to try to figure out what to do to update your home and who to contact to get it done. That can be one of the biggest hurdles in Santa Cruz, is finding good people to do work. So you can definitely lean on us and our experience and our connections to help you get these things done and make it as stress-free as possible. And we can take on as much or as little as you want in helping getting a house ready for sale. So those are my top 3 tips. I'm gonna hand it over to Kaela Howard with Center Stage Home Staging, and she's gonna tell you a little bit about herself and how staging works.
Hi, so Jessica covered how refreshing your home helps maximize the sale price. So why would you want to spend money on staging when you already know that your home is looking good and it'll already sell? Well, because staging will maximize your final selling price and your home will sell faster than unstaged homes. My name is Kaela Howard, and as the owner of Center Stage Home Staging, I've helped hundreds of homeowners achieve top dollar sales prices in record time. A little bit about me. I opened Center Stage Home in 2019. I'm a member of RESA, Real Estate Staging Association, and I hold several staging design professional designations. And also I specialize in photo composition. So I know how to arrange a home. So the photographer will take amazing pictures, and from each angle of your home, it'll look amazing online. Also, I was born and raised in Aptos. I'm a Santa Cruz native. Next slide, Jessica. So what is staging? Staging is a secret weapon that transforms an ordinary listing into a must-see dream home. With strategic design tweaks, it stimulates buyers' emotions and sparks their imagination and creates connection. 73% of homes that are staged sell for over list price. On average, that's about 40,000 over list price, and they sell 9 days faster than the average day on market. That's because staging doesn't just make a house look nicer, it creates a feeling. It sparks that reaction that buyers cannot resist. Staging maximizes your investment and puts more money back in your pocket. It's a simple and effective way to build excitement and demand that drives up both traffic and sales price. And that's the power of staging working for you. Nobody wants to leave money on the table, so don't. Your average return on investment of 1.3% results in a 7.1% over list return on investment. Next slide, Jessica. Can your home be staged if you're living in it? Absolutely. It's a bit of a different process, and it's a little bit more involved for the homeowner who is living there, but it absolutely can be done. We work with what you have, give you a list of to-do things that you could do or hire help, to complete. And then we come in and we just stylize and bring in what's needed and fill in the gaps. Next slide, Jessica. Most important rooms to stage, we recommend the living room, since it's usually the first line of sight for a potential buyer, your master bedroom and a kitchen. People are so visual, they just really need to see a space and how proper furniture works in that space to imagine themselves there. Next slide. So as Jessica mentioned, each home staging project starts with a site visit, whether you're occupied or it's a vacant home. We give quotes out, refresh recommendations, and we just go from there. And I could say 99.99% of clients that I've worked with are happy and glad that they have staged and made that investment. They see that on their bottom line once closing happens.
Yes, I can second that. I've been working with Kaela probably, I don't even know, many years, I mean, since you started, right? And we have done many, many homes together. I have never once had a client not be blown away by what she's done to their house. Never once. And that is saying a lot. And we've worked with some people that are really picky. So Kaela does an amazing, amazing job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next we are going to hear from Michael Christensen, our tax man. Mike.
Hi, my name's Mike Christensen, and I've been in practice for 15 years. I'm an EA located in Aptos, California. I got my degree from business management econ in UC Santa Cruz. And so I was trying to add up the tax returns over the years. So I think it's about 5,000 returns. About 10% of that have involved either home sale or a residential rental. So about 500 returns dealing with either capital gains on a primary or capital gains on a rental property. So lots of years through the practice dealing with home sales. Next slide, please. One of the biggest questions people have is directly related to what can we deduct to build up the basis in the property. So everyone's heard, as you collect your receipts over the years, you can add those to the basis to improve the lessen the gain you might pay. There's a lot of confusion about what can I deduct and what can I. And so the best example is, say, painting versus siding. So you can deduct the siding when you go to sell the house as a step up in basis. Painting is just an expense that happens throughout the years. Same thing as the handyman fixes, gardening, landscaping. Conversely, if you put in hardscape, if you put in an extensive back deck, if you put in concrete work, that could be something that we could be an improvement, add to the basis, hopefully lessen that capital gain. Next slide, please. And so this is where I find most people are pretty savvy. They've heard of the 121 exclusion. That is, if you've lived in that house for the last 2 out of 5 years, a single person gets 250K excluded, capital gain, married filing joint 500K. What that means in real numbers, especially a place like Santa Cruz County that has had tremendous appreciation. Capital gains fed in California, if you're at a high tax rate, can be 35%. So $1 million, which is very easy to do in appreciation if you've had the house 20 years, that could be 358K in tax. With the capital gain exclusion, that 500K brings that tax bill down to 175. Improvements, etc., over the years that can build up that basis can lessen that even more. Probably one of the most powerful tools in the tax code, and both California and IRS conform to it. Next slide, please. So this is one area that I find a lot of people will commingle advice that's out there. A 1031 exchange, a lot of people will say, well, I sold my house. Can I put those proceeds in another house? And how do I do that? And so that is, you can do that on a rental property through a very, very tightly controlled process, the 1031 exchange, to avoid capital gains, but that's only on a rental property, not a primary residence. So a lot of people will have that question, what can I do with the proceeds after I'm done? Hopefully we minimize the tax as much as possible, then those are to do with what you want, but primary residence, 1031 exchange, 2 separate items. Next slide, please. And so any questions, really just reach out. And then what I tell people, what I found, selling a primary residence is a very, very emotionally tied event in people's lives. And if we can talk it through and look at what it would be tax-wise, look at any potential tax savings, that helps lessen the emotions and gets it out of, instead of being an emotional decision, you can make a financial decision. So if there's any questions, always feel free to reach out, and then we can run just analysis on what you would pay in tax or save in tax.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. We have a few questions. I just want to go in here and see. So Kaela, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
How can you talk a little bit more about how it works to sell a property with somebody still living in it, and how staging would work? So how would that process look for somebody who's still living in their house? What do you do?
So I walk the property. I take a lot of pictures. I go home and I go home and do a report and just do a line by line, room by room task for the homeowner, and give instructions on what to remove, obviously, personal items, photographs, majority of wall art, depending on what they have. I give them a small list of items that they can purchase, bedding to make it look like a spa-like effect. Yeah. Once that is done, I come in with hard decor. So I don't bring rugs for an occupied home, and generally not furniture. I come in and I style and I just get it ready for photos, and I instruct the homeowners on how to keep it looking that way, and just give some basic info. And what you have is a refreshed interior that looks very, it looks very intended on you. It looks purposeful, and it looks more like interior design rather than just everyday living.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know we have done that on several properties, and really the big things is like taking stuff out too. Like less is more. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
they might need to store some stuff and, store it in the garage. It's better than in the garage than the house, or you can get a storage unit. But a lot of times what we're doing is taking like a third or 2/3 of the things that are in the house out of the house. And so it's kind of a matter of like going through and them starting to pack and declutter, which helps the moving process anyways,
Mhm.
right? And then adding a couple pieces, but it's really less is more, definitely when you're staging a house. You don't want it to feel like overly stuffed.
Less is definitely more. Yeah, the more stuff you have in your home, the smaller it looks. It can look like there's not enough storage. So I
Yeah.
often say, clear out your closet at least by 40% and make it look like a little boutique color block. Do all velvet hangers, make it look very
Yeah,
purposeful.
those little things make a huge difference. And conversely, like having a house that's vacant with nothing in it also makes it look smaller. It's
Yeah.
crazy, like a vacant room and versus something that just has a few items in it, it looks way bigger. So I think staging small places is like super important too, because it makes a tiny little, living room look way bigger if you have something in it.
And it shows function. So
Yeah, yeah, it does. Mike, a question for you about write-offs and maintenance versus, so you can't write off things that are considered maintenance of a house. So that's like painting your house 5 years ago, that's not a write-off. But if you do paint it because you're selling it, you can write it off.
Correct. So that's a perfect example that you gave. Painting or the fix to sell expenses or the staging expense.
Mhm.
All those are going in right into against fix to sell directly against the gain that's been happened. So, it gives you deduction there and it's going to decrease your total taxable gain. So I think it's a win-win.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, nobody likes paying taxes. Okay. But if you're paying taxes, it means you made some money somehow,
Yep.
usually, right? So I know it's a tough pill to swallow to think about paying taxes on selling your house. But if you're paying taxes, it means you made quite a bit of money. And then like working with somebody like you to get your cost basis down as low as
Yep.
possible and minimize that tax bill. And, do you need to have receipts for every single thing? Maybe you can talk to them about that. I mean, if you remodeled your house and did the kitchen 20 years ago, can you write that off?
Yeah, if you know the value of what you spent and when that was done, that will go into what we call stepping up the basis, so decreasing that amount of taxable gain. And that you brought up a good point is if you're selling your house, that's probably the most valuable asset you have. And so why wouldn't you spend some time trying to get as many answers as possible on how to lessen the tax? And one of the analogies I'll put is if someone had a bunch of appreciated Tesla stock or Nvidia stock or something along the line, they would consult with someone before they sold that. And so when it's your primary residence, which may have the most value of any your of net wealth, it's good a time to spend some time talking about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's your most people's most biggest financial sale that they will ever do
Yep.
in their lifetime, especially here, because our average price is 1.34 million. So it pays to really think about how to maximize your sale by doing the simple things that we talked about. And then how to net the most profit comes down to taxes and thinking of being smart about that and preparing for it ahead of time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for doing the Sell Your Home for More webinar with me, and I will be sending out everybody's contact info. So let us know if you ever have any questions. We are here to help, and it doesn't matter if you're selling your house this year or next year, 5 years from now, we can consult with you well ahead of time. And you might find that, doing some fixes on your house now that you can enjoy before you sell it could be fun too. If you're selling your house in a year, you might as well do some fun new light fixtures and a couple things and enjoy it for a little while. So we are here for you well ahead of any time that you're selling as well. All right. Thanks, guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.